Hello and welcome to my channel, Lucille Williams with Christian Talk. I'm glad you're here today because especially if you're having trouble in your marriage, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you are having trouble in your marriage, first I want to say, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know that can be really difficult. Having trouble in your marriage is one of the most horrible things you can go through. And you might be feeling kind of hopeless, like there's no hope. But the first thing I want to say is don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Many people have gone through rocky times in their marriage. And if you stay the course, you can get through this. You can get through this. And another thing you need to know is that one of the first places the enemy goes after you is in your marriage. Satan does not want strong marriages. He wants to get in between you and your husband, you and your wife. He wants dissension. He wants you guys fighting because a healthy family with two people who love each other, that's what God wants. But that's not what the enemy wants. So keep that in mind. You're fighting not just for your marriage, but you're also fighting something that's it's a spiritual thing, and you need to remember to call on God. So the first thing you want to do is you want to be in communion with God and ask God to help you get your marriage on a better place, or in a better place, a different direction, a better direction. But here's the thing. If you are struggling in your marriage, chances are you spend some time thinking about the bad things. You're thinking about where it's difficult. You're thinking about where your spouse has maybe said something that hurt your feelings. You're focusing on negative, chances are, because when you're in a difficult place, sometimes we think about those things. And that's one of the things you need to stop doing. You need to stop thinking about what's bad. You need to stop thinking about how difficult it is. And instead, you need to reframe it and you need to start looking for things that are good. Think about the things about your spouse that you like, that you could really appreciate, that you can genuinely appreciate and love about them. And think about those things. Think about those things. Also, think about what it is like from their view, from their perspective. How are they feeling? You need to take a step back and you need to really think, what is happening for them? If they're married to you, if you were married to you, how would you feel about that? Would you be happy with the way you're being treated? And so you got to think about everything that you're doing and saying. Is this something that is kind? Is this something that's going to help my marriage and mend my marriage? Or is it going to cause more of a wedge between us? So marriage, it's hard, but you have to try not to be selfish. You have to think of it from the other person's perspective. What is going on with them? Now, I am not talking about like if you're in a situation where someone is harming you or there's like severe abuse or anything like that. No, that's something you need to get some professional help for, and nobody should be being abused. That let's just take that off the table. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about natural, normal conflict that couples go through, like, difficulty. So you need to start looking at it from their perspective and think, what do they need? What does my spouse need right now? What do they need from me? What is it they're asking me to do? And then stop and think about it and think, can I do these things? Can I change my behavior to fulfill desires in them? And then think about all the things that you may need to apologize for. There might be 20 things that you feel like they need to apologize to you for, but if there's one thing, even if it's one little thing that you feel like you can take responsibility for, maybe you've said something unkind, maybe you've been aggressive, maybe you've been giving them the silent treatment, any area that you feel like you have been unkind to your spouse in any way, you need to own that and you need to ask for forgiveness and tell them you're sorry. The thing is, it's a snowball thing. If two people aren't treating each other well, it's only going to get worse. Someone's got to stop that snowball and say, no more. We are going to be nice to each other. We are going to see this through. We're going to be nice to each other. Now, maybe you're at a situation where your spouse has said, I don't think I want this anymore. I don't think I love you. I want out. If that's your situation, then you need to take a time out, take a deep breath, Don't freak out on them. Don't say unkind things. You need to remember to be kind and listen to what they have to say, and be about focusing on making the marriage better and doing whatever you need to do. You need to talk to them about areas you feel like you can improve, and then just go about being that person. Be the best version of you that you can be. Work out, eat well, do whatever you need to do to feel good about you, and then think about them and try to not be selfish, but be other-centered, and think about how you can fulfill their needs. Because if somebody wants out of the relationship, it's because somehow things are not being fulfilled in them. They've got some unmet desires. Now, I know that we are not responsible for another person, but we can, on our end, do everything that we can to do what we can to save our marriage. And it is so worth it. It is so worth it, because if you are married, then you have made a commitment until death to be with this person. And if you have children, your children are counting on you to work things out. So I'm just asking you, I'm begging you, don't just turn your back on your marriage. Do the best you can to make it better. Don't just be like, well, it's good enough, it's fine. No, never give up on making it better. And so you need to get to work on doing everything you can do. You cannot change them. There's nothing you can do to change your partner. But if you change in the equation, they will change, because it's cause and effect. If two people are interacting and one changes the way they're interacting with that other person, the other person has no choice but to also respond differently, because you're being differently. So think about how you could be kind to them, how you on your end can be the best spouse, can be the best husband, can be the best wife that you can be, and then pray and ask God to take care of the rest. And that's my message today. Do everything you can to keep your marriage together. Recognize that Satan does not want you to have a good marriage, and he's going to do things. Satan's going to attack us and do things to try to pull you apart. He wants to be destructive in families, and don't let him do that. Don't let him do that. As much as it depends on you, you do the best you can to keep your marriage together, and it will be so worth it. Many couples have gone through struggles. Many couples. I know my marriage has gone through struggles. Everyone struggles in their marriage. I don't know of anyone who hasn't struggled in their marriage. And many couples will tell you, those who stick it out and fight for it and get past the difficult times, that later on the years get better and better and better. So hang in there. It will get better. Follow these principles, then I know for sure that they're going to work. So that's it. Hit like, hit subscribe, check out my book, From Me to We. It has great marriage tips. Until next time, have an amazing day.